Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special episode of the Cowboy Cast Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Novozinsky, and today we have a great one for you. We have the pioneer woman herself, Ree Drummond, joining the show to talk about her son, Todd. Now, Todd is a quarterback at Pawhuska High School. He's a prospective college athlete, and just last week, Todd and Ree and her husband, Ladd, visited OSU for OSU's Junior Day. So Todd has high aspirations in the college football game. We get Ree's thoughts on that. We get her thoughts on what college students should eat and a whole bunch more, even some Lincoln Riley talk with Ree Drummond. All that and more coming up right now. And I do want to start off, before we get into all that, like just a quick shout out to some of my coworkers. They wanted to just say, especially my boss, TV's Jerry, his name is, he wants to say he loves your baked ziti.
Well, that's great. Yeah, that's definitely one of the popular recipes, especially teenagers and dudes.
Absolutely.
It's a good, basic, hearty recipe. I'm glad he likes it. Tell him hi for me.
Absolutely will do. So let's talk about Todd and his football growth, like the growth over his career. What does all of this look like just from your perspective as a mother?
Well, yeah, I'm not going to be able to talk about the technicalities of his development game-wise, but I can give you the mom perspective. And Todd has an amazing quality in football, and that is that he is extremely coachable and teachable. He's very respectful to the coaches. He listens to what they have to say, and he really appreciates hearing the perspectives of his high school coaches, all the different ones. And so because of that, and because of his size, and because he's willing to put in extra work, he's had a pretty rapid development from my point of view, as my layman's point of view, I should say. I'm not a football expert, but I do love football.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been fun. We knew that he had a pretty good arm over the past 2 or 3 years, because he did go with his brother to train and, to work on his arm. But he just didn't have the chance to play and have a lot of game experience in varsity games. So we were really just excited to see him be able to get out there and play. And, he never misses a practice, he watches a ton of film. So we were glad just that he got to get out there and play. And then the fact that he had such a really good season was, no one was prouder than Ladd and me.
Right. And when you think about, because you had said, Ree, you're like, oh, I'm not a football expert. But I think as a mother, you have to be an expert in some ways. And I think you totally are, especially, we see it on your show. Was there a moment where you saw it in his eyes, whether it was during a game, maybe after a game, or at home, that you realized that Todd would be a great football player?
Oh, gosh. I think when I first got a hint of it, it was actually Bryce, my older son, sometime during his senior year. I was talking to Bryce about the fact that Todd, wasn't quite getting a chance to play yet. He'll be excited to have that chance after Bryce went to college. And Bryce made a comment, which is a little bit uncharacteristic of him, because he's kind of a tough older brother, but he said, Todd's a better quarterback than me.
Wow.
And I thought, oh, wow, that's interesting, because I haven't really been able to see that. I wouldn't say that. I think they both have different strengths, but I do think the consensus is with Bryce and us is that Todd is pretty accurate. That's one of his strengths. He's working on becoming more powerful and definitely, working on his speed, and but he's pretty accurate, and that's been fun to watch play out on the field.
I love the football analysis from the Pioneer Woman. This is a surreal moment for me. I'm just gonna.
I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just honestly, it's by osmosis if I know anything at all.
You're doing a great job, and I love it. I love to hear it, because there is that motherly perspective where you could see it. You could just look and be like, you could know nothing about football, and you could just see it in your son's eyes and just see how he is performing, and he's doing a good job. I want to talk about his relationship with his brother real quick, because he had mentioned that he said that there was a little bit of a sibling rivalry growing up, so to speak. What was that like from your eyes?
Yeah, I think definitely not just in football, but just the older brother, younger brother vibe where, Bryce, it was bigger first and had more friends first, and just, he was just kind of the older brother, and Todd was in his shadow on the football field for sure, but smaller than him for many years until he wasn't. And so, they wrestled, and they fought just as much as any brothers did, but they also had a strong kind of streak of support for each other too, especially that sort of quarterback club. They both kind of know the challenges and what a mental position that is, and so they do have that kind of support for each other, but they also are the first to give each other a really hard time.
Sure, yeah, for sure. And going back, it is a super mental position, but it's also a physical position. And Todd had brought up, and I just took a step back, and I was like thinking about his nutrition. Okay, I was thinking to myself, my goodness, his mom is the Pioneer Woman. So what is the meal prep look like for you and Todd? With like, if he said that he would, sometimes he would come to you and just say, hey, I'd like to gain 10 pounds or something like that, and you would just maybe like prepare stuff for him. What does that look like from your perspective, and how do you know like what the nutrients are that he needs to bulk, I guess?
Yeah, so interesting, because Todd and I have such different challenges with our diets and our physiques. I recently kind of got healthy and dropped 55 pounds in the past year, believe it or not.
Congratulations.
And thank you. It had just sort of crept up, and I took the approach of like lunges and squats and building muscle and eating more protein and things like that. So Todd obviously, he's very strong, and he's tall. He might get a little taller too, but he's got to pack on a little weight. So it's kind of fun because I can, really stick to the protein rich foods that I had sort of been making anyway. And as the wife of a cowboy, I've always got steaks and chicken and, all sorts of protein ready to cook at all times. But the fun part with Todd is, I'll make him a grilled PB&J at 10:30 at night, and he'll polish it off with, a huge glass of whole milk. And, you can just keep feeding him. But it's exciting because he is getting stronger and bigger, which I notice because I see him every day, and it's fun. And Bryce was always kind of naturally thicker and did not ever have the issue of needing to put on weight or gain weight. So I'm just I have to have kind of check-ins with myself, like, how many PB&Js does he have this week? Make sure he gets his quota.
Do you see it? First of all, grilled PB&Js are fantastic. I had one for the first time last month. Fantastic. He said that was his favorite. Todd did the other day. But do you almost see it as sort of a personal project for you? Like, okay, like he wants to get big, and he has to eat, massive quantities if he's going to be a football player, especially on the Division I level. Do you almost see it as like a personal project? Like, okay, I'll show you what I can whip up.
Absolutely. Food is what I do. Who else? And we do have a pizza place in town, and we have our restaurant, but a teenage boy is not going to be as methodical, as he needs to be about gaining the weight. And the fun thing is I'm just going to say it, we are completely eaten up with football. Like, it's basically all we care about. Especially during the fall season, it's just, the game is over, and then we're kind of gearing up for the next game, and we they watch film, and I listen to him and Lad talk about film and talk about the next Friday's game, and it's, as I said, osmosis is the only way I know anything. But it's fun because it almost feels like a family project to to assist Todd in this endeavor of like bulking up and gaining weight, and he's such a good kid that he's so appreciative of anything I cook for him. He always thanks me, and it's just Lad and I joke. We love all our kids and have good relationships with all of them. We kind of joke that we saved the best for last because Todd's just a complete joy to have around. And, as I said, he's so coachable, according to his coaches, and teachable. And he's just got a good, positive attitude. So, it's fun to help him try to achieve his goals. I'm sure not going to help him with his accuracy or his, his speed or anything like that, but I can sure help him with his diet.
100%. That's definitely what you could do. And you got Lad for helping him with football stuff. I mean, Lad played football.
Absolutely. He's got a strong support staff with his coaches and his buddies. He's got, his buddies from the team that go to his quarterback training with him and receive for him. And we have a new tight end position on our team, that a new tight end, and he's going with Todd. And so it's just great. The whole community's basically bought into the football program, and everyone supports it. And it's just, honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do when Todd leaves, when I don't have high school ball. I'm still going to go to all the games, but it'll feel so different because it's just we eat, sleep, and breathe it.
Of course, yeah, and going to like sort of the recruiting aspects of this, because that's obviously what he's going to have to be thinking about now. Is there ever? I saw the OSU coaches; they were like sharing pictures that they took with you the other day, and it was a big deal that you were on campus and stuff like that. They were basically, it sounded like they were in awe of you, which I think is kind of fun, like how all these like grown macho football men are like, just pining for the Pioneer Woman. I think it's so fun to see that.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that characterization. There was one coach that was real nice, and his wife, he and his wife watched the show, but I was definitely not the story on junior day at OSU at all. I was definitely just Todd's mom most of the day.
Yeah, of course, and that's what I wanted to ask you about. Is there ever like a moment, if you're on like one of the junior days or just events like this, where are you ever like weary of it because of your star status, or are you always like, okay, we're a family, like I'm gonna come, and Todd is the star here?
I'm never leery. I sometimes I don't always go along. Lad'll take him to a camp or something or a visit, and I won't go. But there was something about junior day at OSU. We love Stillwater, obviously, and it was Lad's birthday that day, so we just decided to kind of make it a family event. I asked the guys, I was like, is this weird for mom to go? I didn't want to go if it was going to be strange for both parents to be along, but I was looking forward to it, and it turned out to be such a great day. And I am not that big of a deal. I am not Justin Bieber, or I'm not on the celebrity scale. I'm kind of low on the celebrity scale, so it definitely is always about Todd when things like this happen. So,
and I'll tell you what, with his personality, I mean, I think he can win a room. And I'm just gonna say that straight up. Like he's a great kid. Like you guys clearly just raised him super well. And seeing him, I mean, you guys all grew up OSU fans, as he was telling me. What was it like for you to see him just in these facilities? Obviously, it was junior day, of course, but like being able to see him at his favorite school, what was that like for you?
Well, he had a smile on his face the whole day, and it was he said it was truly one of the best experiences he'd had. And one of the other experiences that are on that list for him was Bedlam this past season. He was there in the stadium and just said it was basically the best college game experience he's ever seen. I forgot where I got off track. I forgot what the question was.
Yeah. No, I was just
seeing him at OSU. Yeah,
right.
No, it was great. I mean, he loved it. It was the novelty, the fun things, putting on the uniform and being in the locker room and getting the photos taken. That was really fun. But I think what he really commented on was just enjoying the people that were there, the coaching staff, being able to see the support staff and all of the roles that go into, running Oklahoma State football, from the nutritionist to, the academic support. And it really opened his eyes just to how much support is behind a D1, college team. So it was just, and of course the orange and black, they had a table with all of the sweatshirts and t-shirts and golf shirts and caps that that are sort of current in the OSU world right now. And I told one of the coaches, I said, it looks like Todd's closet just exploded on this table. That's basically all he has. He has a few K-State things too, but it was just great. It was so fun for Todd, and he was honestly honored to be there, and I was honored for him that he was invited. And you never know what the future holds, and it's going to be a journey, the whole how it unfolds in front of Todd and where he ultimately winds up. But I can't think of a better day for him than junior day. He loved it.
It sounds like he did, and I know you went to USC and your husband went to Arizona State. How did this OSU fandom start? Was it just something that was embedded to you in childhood, and it's something that you've had all your life? And do you follow USC at all?
Yeah. So the first part of your question, all four of our parents graduated from OSU, so we. Neither of us went to OSU, but our parents did. my parents and his parents. So it's the orange is sort of in our blood, and definitely are on the OSU side of things, not the OU side of things. So, but it's funny that Lad and I went to Pac-12 rival schools, which is sort of ironic since we both grew up in Oklahoma. The first several years of our marriage, we weren't able to watch the USC ASU game in the same room together because the double standard was fully on display. I couldn't cheer because USC used to beat ASU all the time. And if I cheered too loud, and it just went all over Lad. So we had to watch it in separate rooms because it just got ugly. But ASU has beat USC a little bit more in recent years. But yeah, I follow USC, but I have found, and Lad says the same thing, that we just don't have it in us to devote too much focus to our alma maters because it's all about Pahuska Husky football, and that's basically the football that we live for. And then, of course, college and pro games once the excitement of Friday night has worn off. But all of our love right now is Husky football.
Yeah, that's a great point too. And just sticking with Oklahoma connections. I mean, you look at Lincoln Riley, former Oklahoma coach, now at your alma mater, coaching there.
I know it's really crazy, and it's kind of fun watching. Fun because my son isn't part of it, but it's fun watching kind of the what's happening with the commits and things in the wake of Lincoln Riley moving to USC, and it's sort of popcorn and see what happens type of moment. Watch what happens, but it's exciting times in football, and you've got the transfer portal. I mean, it's really just a full-time job keeping up with it all. It's fun.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so last main question for you. Then I have two rapid fire ones. So you're I know you downplayed it a little bit earlier. You're not just a Bieber, you said, but you've had major success in your career, and with that, you can probably evaluate future success. What do you evaluate Todd's success to be? He told me he wants to play football professionally. That's what he wants to do. How would you evaluate that scale? Like, do you think he'll accomplish that goal? And if not, like, what do you think that Todd would like to do?
Oh gosh, I have to balance humility with like believing in my son here, but I think Todd, the number one thing Todd has going for him is that he has a winning attitude, and he has a very, very strong work ethic. So when I think of the first couple of games in the fall season, how he looked in those games compared to how he looked in the final few games, it was a really rapid acceleration and improvement, and that's because he did, spend his spare time working and watching film and training. And so I think, and just the culture that he promotes, of positivity and just wanting it. He really wants it. So I would say I feel pretty confident that Todd can do what he sets out to do.
That is awesome, yeah, and that's very true. He seems like a very determined kid, and just loves the promotion too. Loves to get his name out there, and I love to see that. So, Ree, last two questions for you are just some rapid fire, just completely off topic stuff about college kids and food. Okay, so if you were to advise a broke college student right now on just a simple, and you don't have to break down the recipe like ingredient by ingredient, but what are some things that broke college kids should make?
Oh gosh, college kids like in apartments where they have an actual kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I mean, this is such a hard question because it's not too far from the things I usually make. But I mean, my kids probably wouldn't have survived college without noodles.
True.
So, I mean, pasta. Get a good. I think jarred marinara is very underrated because you can make like a baked ziti with cooked pasta. You can buy cooked crumbled sausage that doesn't require cooking, or you can just cook sausage or ground beef, and if you add a good jar of marinara and throw some cubes of mozzarella cheese and bake it, sprinkle on Parmesan. I mean, you've got the protein, the cheese, the pasta. That's pretty hard to beat, and it's very basic, straightforward, but I find that's what college students really like the most. And eggs are big with the kids. You can make omelets. You can make egg in the holes, which is my kids' specialty, where you tear a circle in the bread, toast the bread, and then crack an egg in the middle, and then flip it over, and then you have this piece of toast with a fried egg in the center. So there's nothing too crazy innovative going on in a college student's kitchen, but my daughter Paige cooks for all her friends, and it's because she grew up watching me on my show and watching me cook for the family. And I think the best way to get good at cooking is just to cook. It's really like everything else, writing or anything. You just have to start doing it, and it becomes more second nature.
Yeah, totally. I had baked ziti last night, so this is perfect. I'm already taking your tips.
Oh, another great thing for college students is like the mug revolution, where you can make like a mug omelet. Just rub
true.
Butter on the inside of a mug and crack 3 eggs, add some ham or some, onions or spices, and microwave it for 3 minutes, and then you've got an omelet. It's brilliant.
That is brilliant. That's perfect. I'm actually going to do that tomorrow morning. You have inspired me. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning. Okay, last question for you is this. You have obviously established yourself as a great cook, Food Network, everything like that. Do you ever go eat fast food?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Really?
I love Panda Express. That's my favorite fast food. We just don't have a lot of fast food in our town, but I always, sorry about that. I always joke, and we do have a restaurant and pizza place in our small town. I don't know if you knew that.
I'm actually going in like 3 weeks.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Great. So I always joke that I cooked for my family, for my young kids, and then I started blogging about the things that I was cooking for my family, and that led to a cookbook where I shared recipes that I cooked for my family, and that led to a cooking show where I shared the recipes I was cooking for my family, and that, led to my housewares and kitchen line at Walmart, which allowed me to open a restaurant in my small town so that I never had to cook for my family again. I never could have planned this ahead of time, but no, we love to get to-go food from our pizza place, and but in terms of fast food, if I had a Taco Bell and a Panda Express in Pawhuska, I'd be there all the time.
That is great to hear, and I love to hear that. It's just an interesting perspective. It was a burning question that I had all day. Ree Drummond, thank you so much, so much for doing this, and I appreciate this so much, and I can't wait to tell Todd's story.
Well, you're so kind to include him, and thank you so much for letting me talk about one of my favorite kids ever. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And I hope I see you in Pawhuska sometime.
Absolutely, Ree. Yeah, I will definitely let you know when I'm coming in.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ree. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Alrighty, folks. So that was our interview with Ree Drummond, the Pioneer Woman. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at FranchiseOK for our radio station. You can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Novozinsky, and you could see my work featured on thefranchiseok.com. For 107.7 The Franchise, I'm Ryan Novozinsky. Have a great day.